Good evening. From the AFN News Center in Frankfurt, Germany, I'm Air Force Sergeant Ryan Hoke. An American soldier is in stable condition today after being shot in the chest in a sniper attack yesterday in Afghanistan. U.S. Army spokesman Colonel Roger King says U.S. soldiers, including both Special Forces and conventional troops, were on reconnaissance patrol yesterday evening near the Pakistani border when they came under fire. There's no information on who fired at the soldiers. Colonel King says whoever was behind the attack fled before U.S. troops returned fire. The wounded paratrooper is from the 82nd Airborne Division. One of the important projects underway in Afghanistan is the train-up of the Afghan National Army. Gail McCabe was on the ground at the start of the training program and brings us this report.
He's 286,
Jim is
right?
a professional soldier, a member of 1st Battalion 3rd Special Forces Group. His training prepares him to confront and overcome all kinds of situations. At the moment, the task at hand is teaching the subtleties of military weaponry. His students are raw recruits in the new and potentially powerful ANA, the Afghan National Army. They're here to learn how to be professional soldiers, a military force capable of defending the Afghan nation. Battalion Commander Colonel Najibullah says the contract with America to build a new national army will protect Afghan territory and defend their independence. Independence is key. Afghans haven't had their own voice for decades, and even now ethnic clashes from within threaten to destroy the fragile peace that exists. Many of these recruits are seasoned fighters, but it's been over 2 decades since the last official army existed. In recent times, the only national force they've known is the anti-Taliban force, the Northern Alliance. And while some of the Afghans taking part in this training do have ties to the Northern Alliance, there has been a sincere effort put out to make sure that the majority of the recruits are new blood. Tazik says they are one Afghan. They come from all the provinces to rebuild the country.
All right, listen.
For the soldiers of 3rd Group, the challenges are huge. Language is a question of dialect, and what seems obvious to an American doesn't necessarily translate into Afghan. Building an army from the ground up is hard, but the payoff is big.
In the long-term goal, we can continue to fight our battles and fight other people's battles for them, or we can enable people like these to provide for their own security, to provide for their own future.
For Afghanistan, the stakes are high. These first steps will unify their fledgling nation into a centralized command structure, part of a national quest for security and stability, crucial elements in an Afghan future. Gail McCabe, Kabul, Afghanistan.
According to the Afghan government, in the first year of the program, as many as 9,000 Afghan soldiers are expected to take part in the U.S.-funded training. Over in Kuwait, military crews get rid of old explosives in a desert place called the Udari Range. Army Private James Dubberly reports on a multi-service team in charge of that job.
Recently, EOD service members from Camp Doha and Ali Al Salim Air Base joined forces to dispose of some excess ordnance. The EOD teams headed out to the Udari Range where they prepared to dispose of a variety of old and leftover explosives. Included in the list of disposables were several disarmed landmines, mortar shells, and bombs. The explosives were to be disposed of using several different techniques. The largest of the detonations was to be a blast of more than 2,000 pounds of high explosives set off by C4. Other lesser detonations would be done using X-rods and thermite burns. The EOD members were extremely careful with the detonations and explained everything in detail to all participants. The operations ended with a bang as the ordnance was successfully destroyed. I'm PFC James Dubberly.
Now, after the blast, EOD isn't finished. They still have the very important task of checking the entire area to make sure all the explosives were actually destroyed. And that's Newsline for this hour. Keep it tuned right here to AFN.